Events. We bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts, hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first.
You have to do the impossible to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1.
Haongeleshi mtu yoyote. Jaribu kumwongelesha. She might open up to you.
Unaona?
Are you even qualified? Umehitimu. Unajua unafanya nini hapa?
Ahmed, arudi hiyo Dubai. Nimepoteza mtoto mmoja.
Haijalishi. The words came out of your mouth. You should know better. Pole.
Na mume wako.
Sasa hapo ndio shida iko. Hapo ndio shida iko. Meaning?
Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside...
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice,
we have to do it twice.
19 nations will compete in the Total Energies CAF African Nations Championship, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania 2024, which will be staged from 2nd to 30th August 2025. Amongst the 4 groups in the tournament A to D, Kenya is pooled in Group A, together with Morocco, Angola, DR Congo, and Zambia.
Algeria from the set piece, the header is on target, but it's...
This unique competition featuring the best locally based players from across the continent definitely has something for everyone. Just bring your A game as you let it flow live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Members of the Senate's Finance and Budget Committee have been attacked by goons in Kisii County. Meanwhile, a staggering 100 cases of femicide have been reported in the past 6 months. This and much more, but first, the highlights. Anger and protests. Blogger Albert Ojwang's death in police custody triggers fury as a scheduled autopsy on his body is postponed.
Tunataka ukweli, serikali tuambie, county pia iangalie, constituency level pia iangalie, ward mali mtoto anatoka. Hawa wote wajue ni nini kilitendeka.
Albert Ojwang's family demand justice, describe the deceased as a brilliant and soft-spoken environment enthusiast. Six tourists killed in a road accident on Oljororok, Nakuru Road. 27 others sustained injuries. An expectant mother in Makueni forced to give birth at traditional midwife's home after a hospital turns her away. Good evening and a very warm welcome to the broadcast. My name is Muchuma Odim. My colleague Tomboya is away this evening. Our sign language expert tonight is Lucy Mwaura. Talk to us on all our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1 on X, Facebook and YouTube. On to our lead story tonight. The Inspector General of Police, Douglas Kanja, maintains blogger Albert Ojwang was found unconscious in a cell at Central Police Station and was pronounced dead upon arrival at Mbagathi Hospital. Kanja has subsequently interdicted the officer commanding Central Police Station and all officers on duty during the fateful Saturday night. Meanwhile, the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, has launched investigations into Ojwang's death. Ojwang was arrested on Friday, 6th June, in Homa Bay County for alleged false publication against the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Eliud Lagat. Here is that report.
The death of Albert Ojwang while in police custody at Nairobi Central Police Station continues to elicit public outcry, especially over what transpired between his arrest on last Friday, the 6th of June in Homa Bay, and when he was reportedly found unconscious in a police cell at Nairobi Central Police Station.
During a routine cell inspection, Ojwang was found unconscious. He was immediately rushed to Mbagathi Hospital for treatment, as documented at the occurrence book number 9/08/06 of 2025 at 01:39 hours. Upon arrival, he was declared dead.
Kanja explaining what caused Ojwang's arrest.
There was a complaint that had been launched by the DIG KPS about his name being tarnished. So it is on that basis that investigations were actually being carried out, because he also have got a right to be protected by the same law.
Following his death apparently in the hands of police, the police boss cracked the whip on those deemed culpable.
I ordered the interdiction of the following officers with immediate effects. Number one is the officer commanding the station, that is the Central Police Station OCS, the duty officer who was on duty during the night in question, the cell sentry on duty at the time, all officers who were on duty at the report office that night, and any other officer found to have been on duty or otherwise involved during the incident.
In earnest, the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, commenced investigations into Ojwang's death.
IPOA will do everything possible to ensure that justice is served for the family and to Kenyans. And we're very happy that the IG has already interdicted all the officers who are in this station at the material time. We also want to warn those who are going to be appointed to act in their places, to cooperate with our investigators and not to interfere with the investigations.
And we will provide all the necessary support to the independent investigative agencies in order to resolve this case, and we will provide further updates as the investigation progresses.
Meanwhile, the Law Society of Kenya has called for the unconditional recusal of Deputy Inspector General of Police Eliud Lagat from taking part in the investigation of the mysterious death of Albert Ojwang. LSK also wants the Inspector General of Police, Douglas Kanja, to reveal the names of the officers he interdicted, including those who arrested the late Ojwang from Homa Bay and transported him to Nairobi. On Monday, there were pockets of demonstrations in the country as protesters expressed outrage over Ojwang's death while in police custody.
The Law Society of Kenya condemned the incident and termed the events leading to Ojwang's death as pointing to illegality, malice, and abuse of authority.
There is absolutely no rationale why Mr. Ojwang could not be produced to the nearest law courts within Homa Bay County to answer to any charges against him or for relevant transfer orders to be made. We are further apprehensive over the persuasion behind the overnight transfer of Mr. Ojwang to Nairobi without proper court orders.
Led by its president, Faith Odhiambo, LSK wants Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja to reveal the names of all interdicted officers.
Without telling Kenyans in plain word of who these individuals are, will be treated to just PR for purposes of calming down the citizens of Kenya. We want to know who are these officers, the ones who picked Mr. Albert Ojwang. Are they part and parcel of those interdicted? And secondly, those interdicted, we want to know their names. We want to know each and every officer involved so that we can follow and find out what are the due processes that will follow, and we'll know the individual officers that are being held accountable.
While calling for full cooperation of police officers with Independent Policing Oversight Authority in the investigation, LSK also wants Kanja's deputy, Eliud Lagat, to unconditionally recuse himself from the investigations.
We know that this recusal is necessary to dispel any apprehension of prejudice and conflict of interest that may arise on his account of his role as the complainant against Mr. Albert Ojwang.
Ojwang's death comes in the wake of the arrest of yet another influencer, Kelvin Moinde.
We had asked our officers to follow up because they have not informed even the family where he has since been taken. And so we are sounding the alarm, and we ask also the judiciary to remember their oath of office.
In a statement on Monday evening, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions said there was no sufficient evidence to charge Moinde. The International Justice Mission, in a statement, has condemned Ojwang's death, calling for urgent and transparent action from all relevant authorities regarding justice for the victim. Similar calls were made by the Supreme Council of Kenya Muslims, who called for truth, justice and accountability, and the Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops, who also urged the youth to remain calm, peaceful and prayerful.
Our people, united, shall never be defeated.
Demonstrations were witnessed in several towns in parts of the country as protesters called for justice for the late Ojwang. A section of elected leaders have called for thorough investigations into the death of Ojwang.
It is not right that you live in a country where a citizen can be arrested, taken to a police station and eventually found murdered, and we don't get sufficient explanation.
The Council of Governors have also weighed in on the matter, arguing it was unwarranted that the young man died in the hands of police officers. Government spokesperson Isaac Maura says the government is committed to ensure the family gets justice.
Hatutalichukulia kihivi hivi kwamba limefanyika na liweze kukua vile lilivyo. Wacha wafanye upelelezi wao na tutakuwa tukihakikisha kwamba hatua ambayo inafaa imeweza kuchukuliwa. Watu waweze kujua kwamba serikali inawajali.
Ojwang was arrested on Friday in Homa Bay County and detained at Mawengo Police Station before he was moved to Nairobi, where he was confined at Central Police Station before his untimely demise on Saturday. Kamchemenza for Prime Edition.
From protests to appeal, but still on Albert Ojwang's death, the family of the late is shattered by his sudden death and the mystery around it. They demanded justice for a man they eulogized as a brilliant and soft-spoken environment enthusiast. Mariambo with that report.
Grief and outrage have engulfed Kokwanyo village in Homa Bay County following the tragic and shocking death of a young man allegedly at the hands of police. 29-year-old Albert Ojwang's life was cut short, allegedly while in police custody, a development that has left this community devastated and his family demanding answers.
Kijana aliyetoka nyumbani buheri wa afya, hakuwa na homa hata kidogo. Kijana huyu hakuwa na ugonjwa wa kifafa, kwamba amejigongesha ukutani iliyosababisha kifo chake. Tunakataa kama familia.
Tunataka ukweli, serikali tuambie, county pia iangalie, constituency level pia iangalie, ward mali mtoto anatoka. Hawa wote wajue ni nini kilitendeka.
Albert was reportedly picked by police last Friday while having lunch at his home and transported first to Mawego police station, then to Nairobi.
Waliokuja walijitambulisha kwamba wamekuja kumchukua kijana Albert Omondi na kwamba wametumwa kutoka Nairobi.
His family says they were reassured he was safe, but on Saturday the worst news came.
Waliwahakikishia msiwe na wasiwasi, kijana yuko salama mikononi mwetu. Hivi leo tunazungumzia ambaye alikuwa tumehakikishiwa yuko salama.
Albert's family has urged for thorough investigations, even as circumstances surrounding his death remain unclear.
Mbona hatukuwahi kupata hata ripoti siku moja kwamba Omondi has been summoned?
Kama ni mtu ambao ni ako na tabia nyingine kwenye ukoo ama area, watu wanaweza kusema huyo mtoto alikuwa mkora, lakini tangu hatujasikia.
Maria Ambo reporting for Prime Edition.
Meanwhile, a stalemate ensued over a post-mortem examination on Albert Ojwang's body, resulting in the postponement of the exercise to tomorrow. After government pathologist Johansen Oduor recused himself, citing conflict of interest due to his blood relation with Ojwang, his fellow government pathologist, Dr. Caroline Njeru, said it was only possible to conduct the procedure under natural and dim lights on Tuesday, a suggestion sharply rejected by the private pathologist. Give us on minor reports.
Human rights defenders staged protests outside the Nairobi funeral home on Monday, demanding justice for the late Albert Ojwang. The family's lawyer, who refuted police narrative of suicide, said the body of the late bore injuries on the head, shoulders and hands, pointing to the possibility of torture and murder.
We saw the body yesterday, and the body had a lot of injuries on the head. The body had a lot of injuries on the hand, the shoulder area, but the head was swollen all around. The frontal part of the head, the nose, the ears, generally the head was swollen. And there was a lot of blood oozing from both the nose and the mouth.
Whom did he violate? If it's a false publication, against who? And where is his Twitter handle? We have checked for the Twitter handle of Ojwang. It is not there. The Facebook account is gone. Who has taken them from him?
This as the post-mortem was postponed from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. after government pathologist Johansen Oduor withdrew from the exercise, citing conflict of interest after learning the late was a relative. Another government pathologist, Dr. Caroline Njeru, who arrived at the city mortuary in the evening, said it was not possible to conduct the autopsy with artificial light and suggested postponement to Tuesday.
Postmortem tunataka kuhakikisha imeweza kufanyika kwa usawa kabisa, ndio tuweze kujua the reason behind his death. And then after that, we are expecting heads to roll. We are expecting senior officers to pay for the loss of lives that we continue to witness in this country.
Why was it necessary for Albert to be driven 400 kilometers away to be charged if there was an offense? Is it that we don't have a magistrate court in Homa Bay where he was driven from?
We will not relent until the truth is determined, until all the evidence is gathered and has been analyzed, and that there is determination of the actual cause of death for the late Albert.
However, private pathologists representing the family and human rights organizations rejected the explanation given as mere technicalities meant to delay the process. Human rights organizations have called for swift investigations into the mysterious death of influencer Albert Ojwang and bring to book his killers. Giverson Minor, Prime Edition at the Nairobi Funeral Home, Nairobi.
From Nairobi to Nyahururu, onto a story we highlighted for you at the beginning of the broadcast. 6 tourists have died in a road accident after the driver of the truck they were traveling in lost control of the vehicle, which then landed in a ditch in the Gishaka area along the Oljororok Nakuru Road in Nyandarua County. Among the deceased are 4 men, 1 woman and a child. 27 others sustained injuries and were rushed to Nyahururu Hospital. Nyandarua County Commissioner Abdilizak Jardesa said that the tourists were traveling from Nakuru to Nyahururu, where they were expected to spend the night before proceeding with their journey. Onto the corridors of justice, the Kianjokoma brothers' murder trial turned into a heated debate between his lawyers and the prosecution over the absence of the 6th accused. High Court Judge Margaret Muigai directed that the accused must appear either virtually or physically on June 10th, 2025. The case dates back to August 1st, 2021, when Benson and Emmanuel Ndigwa were arrested at Kianjokoma Market for allegedly violating curfew rules, only for their bodies to be found later, sparking public outrage that led to the prosecution of 6 police officers. Letua Deborah with that report.
We are now moved to the next step.
In court on Monday, defense lawyer Danstan Omari claimed that the 6th accused person had been hospitalized but failed to provide substantiating documentation. He argued that the accused had in the past 3 years consistently attended court, devoid for an adjournment.
We cannot be sure where the accused person is in Thika Hospital or where he is. My lady had therefore been requesting for arrest warrants to issue.
The implications of a warrant of arrest is that the police will storm into the hospital, drag the patient out of the hospital. It's not the first time they have done it. The blame will go to the judiciary that they gave warrants of arrest.
His assertion of insensitivity in the request for an arrest warrant irked the prosecution, which was ready to proceed with 4 witnesses. The prosecution argued that the delay was stalling justice for the 2 young lives were lost and their kin. The presiding judge ruled that no warrant of arrest will be issued for now, but the accused must either appear or prove his medical condition by June 10th, 2025.
The Deputy Registrar, Criminal Division, Nairobi High Court, through the Deputy Registrar, Thika High Court, shall confirm physically the admission of the 6th accused person at Thika Level 5 Hospital and report to court on the 10th of June. If he is actually admitted in Thika Level 5 Hospital, no warrant of arrest shall be executed if the 6th accused is not in hospital, Thika Level 5 Hospital. Then the warrant is issued and shall be executed as requested by the ODPP.
Elsewhere, a businessman, Samuel Louis Karanja, was arraigned at Milimani Law Courts before Principal Magistrate Paul Mutai on 5 counts, including conspiracy to defraud, forgery and obtaining money by false pretenses. He denied defrauding Hasmita Patel of Holdway Properties Limited of land worth 350 million shillings using forged documents and fraudulently obtained 2 million shillings from Onda Concrete Limited. The magistrate granted him a bond of 50 million Kenya shillings or an alternative cash bail of 10 million Kenya shillings. The case is set for pre-trial on 23rd June 2025. And former Assistant County Commissioner Rafas Kihara David appeared in a Laikipia court today without his lawyer, prompting Magistrate Benia Okongo to warn that no further adjournments will be allowed. Kihara faces 4 charges including forgery, uttering a false land document, and abuse of office in fraudulent sales of land parcels. He has denied all charges and is out on bond, with hearing set for 14th July 2025.
The accused is granted the last adjournment. Hearing will be on the 14th of July 2025. It is hereby ordered that the prosecution witnesses Joshua Magna Kiboy be paid witness expense of 2,000 shillings and Daniel Wambugu Maina be paid witness expense of 3,000 shillings.
Letua Debra for Prime Edition.
Glad you're watching Prime Edition. We are taking our first commercial break. When we return, the Cabinet and also Betty Kiptum and Bernardo Kochokumu are already in studio for the latest in the world of business and sports, respectively. Stay with us.
Tracy, ulifikisha doza trip?
Sijafikisha bado. Saving for retirement has been my biggest priority.
So when the trip, nilikuambia jua kali kuna do. Mimi venye nimejipanga na hii biashara yangu, sione nikiwa isoto.
Trip bado tunaenda. Na by the way, do you save for retirement?
Kwani mimi ni mzee? I'm still young and I've got plenty of time to start saving later. Then again, si watu wa jua kali, hatunanga hizo ma pension plans.
Kwani ujui unaweza register with an individual pension plan yenye iko regulated na RBA?
Inawakaje?
Una deposit any amount of money at any time na uko guaranteed ukikuwa mzee. Maisha yako itakuwa nywe.
Badala na kushoni ni ukweli. Hadi mimi li boost savings zangu kwa scheme yetu ya job.
Really?
Nilijua siwezi kuwa kijana forever. Sis, usikose kujipanga mapema. Tutakuwa wazee wa maana.
Ebu nionyesheni kuwa mzee wa maana.
Ensure you save and plan for your retirement during your youthful working days. Provided you are earning an income, you can join a retirement benefit scheme registered by Retirement Benefits Authority and safeguard your tomorrow. RBA, safeguarding your retirement benefits. Kenya's future is taking shape. Introducing the 2025-2026 National Budget. A budget built on priorities and focused on what matters most. Empowering agriculture for food security and prosperity. Supercharging digital infrastructure for innovation and opportunity. Building affordable homes, creating jobs and transforming lives. And ensuring quality healthcare for all. So, how much will it all cost? Well, a proposed budget of 4.2 trillion is on the table. Get the full picture, understand the numbers, and see the impact. The 2025-2026 budget on KBC Channel 1.
Welcome back to Prime Edition. Our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1 on X, Facebook and YouTube. On to other developments tonight. Nominees to serve in the National Police Service Commission have vowed to work with the police oversight agencies to hold rogue officers accountable. Former Assistant Inspector Generals of Police Paris Mudoni and Benjamin Juma, while appearing before the National Assembly Administration and Security Committee for approval hearing, said officers who perpetrate brutality and extrajudicial killings will be dealt with according to the law. Here is that report.
Former Assistant Inspector General of Police Paris Mudoni was the first to appear before the National Assembly Administration and Security Committee to prove her suitability to serve as Commissioner in the National Police Service Commission.
Intervention. Do you recommend or, of course, enforce as a commission?
Members of the National Assembly wanted to know specific measures Mudoni would propose to end police brutality and extrajudicial killings, as well as restore public trust in the police.
We want to educate them, sensitize them, talk to them, bring counsellors to come and talk to them.
Mudoni called for continuous training of police officers on the law and digitization of police data and improvement of their welfare.
And one of the key things is you deny the police officer working in traffic duties to have a business of matatu.
Another former Assistant Inspector General of Police, Benjamin Juma, was also vetted on how he would improve the police service that he previously commanded.
Therefore, first thing is to fast track, is to make sure the accountability of the officers. Each officer should be accountable. Each police officer should be accountable of what he does.
Juma, a holder of master's degree in security management, also committed to work with the police oversight agencies.
Internal mechanism of discipline, of misconducts of police should be strengthened.
Former Principal Secretary, Science and Technology, Professor Colette Soda, also engaged the committee that was concerned how she will be motivated as a commissioner, having served as Principal Secretary and Chief Administrative Secretary.
Because I have served in the government for a very long time, I have a pretty good understanding of how it functions.
The committee is expected to table its report on Wednesday. Gishuku Washira, Prime Edition.
Makueni County government says it is investigating a case in which an expectant mother from Mavivie in Kilome sub-county was allegedly turned away from a local dispensary last Saturday by a nurse. The woman, identified as Gloria Wanja, who had gone into labor, was forced to deliver at the home of a traditional healer, an incident that has enraged area residents. Here is that report.
Gloria Wanja had gone to deliver at the local dispensary in Mavivie, Makueni County, but was unexpectedly turned away by a nurse at the dispensary. The reason given was that one of Wanja's relatives had made a complaint about the dispensary to a local radio station.
Na sasa hii ni mara ya pili mkasa mwana mwingine nikampeleka aende kusaa, tukabukuzwa tukaambiwa tuende Mtungu, tuende Sultan, na sikukuwa na pesa.
With nowhere else to turn, Wanja was forced to seek the services of a traditional healer in the area.
Akatuambia kama ni hivyo routine nyinyi siwataki hapa, endeni Mtungu ama Sultan. Sisi tukarundi, tukakuja mpaka huko juu kwa kazi, tukakaa hapo, ugonjwa ikasindi, tukaambiwa tuende kwa hiyo mama hapo chini. Tukaenda kwa huyo mama, ni hapo nilijifungulia.
The residents have expressed their frustration seeking services at the dispensary, saying they prefer alternative therapy.
Fika kwa kazi mahali ninaweka kazi, nikaona mkojo amesidi, tukaambiwa tumpeleke kwa mama mwingine, tukaenda hapo akajifungulia hapo. Sasa tutafanya nini serikali mtusaidie tu tupate matibabu yenye inafaa.
The residents want the county government to take action on rogue staff at the dispensary. Makueni County Executive Committee member for Health Paul Musila, who spoke on phone, says they are investigating the claims.
They are compiling a report, then they are not finished by the time I had said so wakimaliza by the end of today watanitumia, kesho asubuhi tutaangalia, me and the people at the headquarters.
Attempts to get a response from the dispensary's administration were unsuccessful. Martini Maslin for Prime Edition.
Onto our weekly segment, The Cabinet. Joshua Angatia served in President Daniel Arap Moi's cabinet in charge of the Ministry of Health and is remembered for describing the ministry's Afya House headquarters in 1992 as Mafia House, claiming powerful cartels were frustrating his reforms efforts. The same year, the doctors went on strike demanding better working conditions, improved pay and registration of their union. Some of the doctors and dentists leading this push were either sacked or deregistered, but eventually the strike was called off and later on the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Union was registered. Now here is our focus as put by Bentro Njue. Take a look.
in 1938, Joshua Mulanda Angatia joined elective politics in 1979 when he clinched the Lurambi North parliamentary seat. The constituency later birthed Malava and Lugari constituencies. Before his appointment to cabinet, he had a long-standing career as a teacher, rising to the position of principal of Nairobi Upper Hill School. In 1992, Angatia won the Malava parliamentary seat on a KANU ticket, after which President Daniel Moi appointed him as the Minister for Health. Shortly after his appointment as minister, Angatia claimed mafia cartels at Afya House had put roadblocks that were hindering his work. Angatia faced a number of challenges, including having to deal with one of the longest doctor strikes in the country. In the strike, the medics challenged the government by demanding their rights, including the right to form a trade union of their own. President Moi responded by threatening that the government would import doctors from India and other countries to replace the Kenyan medics. Some medics even fled to neighboring countries, while others left government service for private practice. After the push and pull, the doctors resumed work, and later the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Union was registered. Angatia was also entangled in the Pearl Omega affair. Pearl Omega was a herbal-based medicine developed by Professor Arthur Obel and was a supposed cure for HIV and AIDS. Angatia denounced the drug a week later, claiming Professor Obel had not followed medical ethics and had bent the rules of medicine to suit his quest. Angatia was later transferred to the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. He lost his parliamentary seat just before the 1997 elections to his 1992 opponent Nathan Anaswa, who had successfully challenged Angatia's win in the 1992 polls, and a by-election was held. Anaswa dethroned Angatia, clinching the Malava seat, triggering Angatia's retirement from politics. He died in 2004, aged 66 years. For the cabinet, I'm Ben Troy Njue.
Let's now take you to the counties. Tragedy has struck Kinangop constituency in Nyandarua County after 3 men drowned while conducting a cleaning exercise at Meru Dam. Efforts to rescue the 3 are ongoing. Details on this and other stories in our county news roundup.
According to eyewitnesses, a strong wind swept through the area moments before the incident, which they believe may have contributed to the men losing balance and being pulled to the water.
Leo wemana vijana watatu waliweza kutumbukia kwa damu hii ambapo kidipu hiki cha maji na ambapo tangu mpaka saa hii hawajatolewa, ijapokuwa tumekuwa na tunaomba usaidizi kutoka kwa wale wenye wapiga mbizi.
And tension gripped the Ruiru Eastern Bypass area on Monday as tens of small-scale traders staged demonstrations to protest an alleged government plan to evict them from their stalls.
Mr. DCC alituambia tuweke security. Ukweli? Ile tulikuwa na mkutano huko akatuambia hakuna kuondolewa wapi? Tuliongea vizuri sana, akatuambia watu wa chapati tuendelee kufanya nini? Watu wa nguo tuendelee kufanya nini? Sasa saa hii tumeletewa barua after kutoka huko. Ni ya nini?
Angalia uwanja ni kubwa sana. Sana. Tunashangaa huu uwanja unaweza ukabeba modern toilet peke yake. Hata ukibeba hii modern toilet tukiwa tumeondolewa hapa zitaendwa na akina nani?
The Council of Governors has thrown its weight behind President William Ruto's directive that affordable housing funds collected from Kenya's pay slips should also construct other social amenities such as markets.
We are arguing that, and rightfully so, that markets are an essential social infrastructure for those communities, and they contribute to the economic well-being in those areas where the houses have been put up.
Finally, governors want the Kenya Roads Board to respect a High Court ruling that allowed counties to get the roads maintenance levy fund and disburse it to the devolved units immediately. Council of Governors Chair Ahmed Abdullahi says he has written to the KRB to release the funds.
And this can be projected based on the number of cars and the consumption, there's a trend. just give the counties the portion relating to county roads, period. And keep the portion relating to national government trunk roads at national government level. We'll not ask national government what it's doing with their portion, but give us our portion.
Kasichana Masha, Premier Edition.
And on that note, by Kasichana Masha, it's time for us to cross over for business news. Kiptum, what is the latest today?
Well, reactions on the budget that is coming up on Thursday, and we shall be giving you details, of course, as to what to expect on that particular day. But first, here is the business news. As she said, my name is Betty Kiptum. Now, economists at PKF Kenya are concerned that 30% of government expenditure will in the next financial year be earmarked for servicing debt, and are calling for an audit and prudent management of public debt. Here is Rory Munjenga with the details.
In their pre-budget analysis, economists at PKF Kenya says a 2.8 trillion shillings tax collection target for the financial year 2025-2026 is a tall order, since the number of eligible taxpayers and actual tax-paying Kenyans has widened.
From a bottle of water that you will buy to quench your thirst, from any mobile money or banking transaction you will do, internet that you require for your day-to-day activities, for you to commute from point A to B, you're actually paying tax along the way. And now that is in addition to whatever you are left with at the end of the day after you account for your direct tax. So we are talking about the pay as you earn. We are talking about income tax for corporate entities, and you can actually see the tax burden is quite huge.
Mulili is calling for expansion of the tax base by focusing on real estate and the informal sector through enhancement of e-teams and expansion of the tax scope for all transactions being conducted on the digital marketplace.
The digital asset tax rate was actually reduced from 3% to 1.5% through the Tax Laws Amendment Act. And basically the question is, what does that signal? Does it potentially signal a situation where the government realized that they are not collecting as much as they expected from these transactions, and the incentive is basically to reduce the rate?
He says the government needs to find the right balance between expenditure, tax revenue and public debt, noting that servicing of public debt and pensions is expected to account for 29% of the total budgeted expenditure, while critical sectors such as education is only taking 17%.
It's important that we find the right balance. Government has expenditure, right? We need to spend the money. We need to collect taxes, and we also need to make sure that we can manage our debt, right? The debt has to be sustainable.
They are calling for a relook at the proposal to scrap tax exemptions and tax incentives targeting businesses and investors.
It really begs a lot of questions. Are these really thought through minimization of tax expenditures, or it's just an effort, someone sitting behind a laptop on an Excel sheet and saying this is what we just project, without doing a proper study to understand what the impact of that will be?
Wairi Mujenga for Prime Edition.
And still on the same, the 2025-2026 budget is set to be read on Thursday this week. Among key highlights of the budget is reforms to the value-added tax administration by reclassifying a number of zero-rated products to tax-exempt status. Here is Benson Rioba with the details.
The government projects to spend 4.2 trillion shillings in the next financial year. Total revenue, including appropriation in aid, is projected at 3.3 trillion shillings. Out of the total revenue, ordinary revenue is projected at 2.8 trillion shillings. The Finance Bill 2025 is heavy on value-added tax reforms by drastically reducing the number of zero-rated products and reclassifying them to VAT-exempt status.
You are going to charge zero, but you claim any tax that you paid. But on exempts, you don't charge and you don't claim. And therefore, theoretically, exempt commodities should be slightly more expensive than zero-rated. That is why we try to push essential commodities to zero rating.
The Finance Bill 2025 has also done away with multiple effective dates for implementation of new tax measures, with most tax measures expected to take effect on 1st of July. The other tax enforcement will come into force on 1st of January 2026. In other measures aimed at financing the budget, the Finance Bill 2025 has also proposed administrative cleanups, with the number of days for the Kenya Revenue Authority to ascertain tax refund increased from 90 days to 120 days. Benson Rioba reporting for Prime Edition.
Now, the youth and women are being encouraged to take advantage of the free training offered at Ajira digital platform to acquire key digital and financial skills to tap immense opportunities online. Speaking during a training session on digital entrepreneurship, freelancing, online work and financial management in Nairobi, Ajira Digital Nairobi Regional Director Dickens Okode said the platform has introduced financial skills component to empower digital workers manage their earnings, understand taxation and make informed investments. The Ajira Digital program offers tailored practical training in digital entrepreneurship, freelancing, online work and financial management.
Call to the youth is that Ajira Digital program is here for you. You are not requested or not supposed to pay anything when you come for the Ajira Digital training. It is free. We have experienced trainers.
We mobilize through 3 avenues. We have the empowerment centers, the Ajira Youth Empowerment Centers, and then we have collaborator and we have institutions. So collaborator engagement is through NGOs.
Government ikue inaangalia platform, inachunguza, alafu inaika transparency that this is the correct platform. Naona ndio mtu asikiingia do yake ipotee ama asipate challenges mingi.
So nikafanya kitu inaitwa data annotation, nikafanya transcription na ikakwenda nipeleka vizuri juu kwa wiki nilikuwa na earn kitu kama $100 na sasa there nilikuwa able kujitegemea kulipa bills zangu.
And the national government is set to disburse 10.5 billion shillings of the Road Maintenance Levy Fund to counties. Roads and Transport Cabinet Secretary, that is Davis Chirchir, says the government is getting a legal interpretation of the June 5th ruling and aligning the Road Maintenance Levy Fund to the 4th schedule of the Constitution to unlock delays in the disbursement of the road maintenance funds countrywide.
In the ruling, roads falling under the jurisdiction of counties will now have access to some 10.5 billion shillings allocation for road maintenance, with the court telling the National Assembly to disburse the monies by 30th June 2025. Today, the government is showing commitment to making this happen.
So we'll be working very quickly to resolve that challenge, get a legal interpretation of that ruling that we got on Thursday, and how quickly we can reconstitute Section 6 to allow us to be able to share that piece of revenue from RMLF and allow you guys to maintain our roads in that sharing formula that has been declared must include county governments.
The fund was initially set at 18 shillings per litre of fuel, but was increased to 25 shillings per litre in the financial year 2024-2025 to allow for the maintenance and development of roads countrywide. The government intends to collect at least 115 billion shillings per year in road maintenance levy charges. Currently, annual collections stand at about 80 billion shillings against annual road maintenance requirements of 150 billion shillings.
The revenues we receive on weekly basis, as every ship docks in Mombasa with 80 million KT of petroleum products. At a time like now when we've come out of a rainy period, we need to be able to support our roads financially to ensure that we do not get the foundations of our road totally destroyed.
Churchill was speaking at the launch of the Kenya Road Design Manuals and Specifications 2025 to address floated proposals to update and standardize various road designs across the country, including the size of speed humps and rumble strips, among other road infrastructure.
We have delivered a suite of updated manuals and specifications that will serve not only as technical references, but also as instruments for better planning, safer roads, sustainable infrastructure, and value for public investments.
Alanauko, Prime Edition.
And Kenya's Lamu port is now fully operational, marking a major step in boosting regional trade. Port manager engineer Vincent Sidai says the port has been receiving cargo ships weekly since it opened. As part of the Lamu Port South Sudan Ethiopia Transport, that is LAPSET project, the port is set to play a key role in connecting Kenya with South Sudan and Ethiopia. The port has deep water berths that can manage large cargo ships, giving it an advantage over other ports in the region. The port is also expected to create thousands of jobs, helping to grow the local economy and support development in Lamu County and nearby areas.
Poti kwa hakika imeanza kazi na tunapokea meli kila wiki. Tuko na meli hapa zinaleta na tunaweza kuongezeka. Tuko pia na shipping lines ambazo zimekuja tayari, ziko hapa leo. Wamekuja kuangalia ili walete meli nyingine kama hii Devon ambayo itafanya kazi baina ya Lamu, Mombasa, Dar es Salaam na Zanzibar. Zitakuwa zikimwaga containers kutoka hapa Lamu zikipeleka kwa hizo port zingine.
Kuna channel mbili hapa katika port ya Lamu. Kuna Southern Channel ambayo ina kina cha mita ya 12.5 meters na kuna Eastern Channel ambayo ina kina cha 17.5 meters, yani 17.5 meters, ambayo hiyo ni draft ama ni depth kubwa ya kuweza kuleta meli mpaka post Panamax.
The State Department for Gender and Affirmative Action has announced that over 100 cases of femicide have been reported in the past 6 months. Speaking during the flagging off of a digital campaign against gender-based violence in Nairobi, Cabinet Secretary for Gender, Culture, Arts and Heritage Hannah Cheptumo reaffirmed the government's commitment to ending the vice. The countrywide campaign is part of a broader national effort to promote gender equality and protect women and girls from violence.
Campaigns are one of our innovative strategies to accelerate sensitization against gender-based violence, including femicide. For the last 6 months, more than 100 cases of femicide were reported, while many others may have gone unreported. Gender-based violence, including femicide, is a heinous act that must be condemned and appropriate actions implemented against the perpetrators.
And on that note, we'd like to hand you over to Bernard Okumu, who is on the other side of the studio, to give you the sports news from myself on the business desk. I'm Betty Kiptum. Good night. Over to you, Okumu.
Thank you so much, Betty, and welcome to the latest from the world of sports with me, Bernard Okumu. The national women's rugby team, Kenya Lionesses, has intensified its preparations ahead of their crucial Africa Rugby Women's Cup match against South Africa, set for this Wednesday in Antananarivo, Madagascar. The Lionesses got their World Cup qualifying campaign off to a flying start with the dominating 28-5 victory over hosts Madagascar in Antananarivo last Saturday. Following the South Africa fixture, the Lionesses will face regional rivals Uganda in their final match of the tournament. The competition features 4 of Africa's top women's rugby nations, including Kenya, South Africa, Uganda and Madagascar. The winner of the tournament will earn a direct qualification to the 2025 Women's Rugby World Cup in England, while the runner-up will secure a spot in the Women's World 15s tournament in Dubai.
Team officials, that was a horrible mistake by Kenya, by Madagascar, and Kenya make them pay. That really was a massive, massive disaster for Madagascar. Trying to clear kicking the ball against the posts. Kenya would love to end their performance with another try. Wafula getting very, very close. And it's the fullback.
To volleyball now, where the national women's volleyball team, Coach Geoffrey Omondi, has unveiled a 29-player provisional squad ready to take part in the A5VB World Volleyball Championship set to take place in Thailand. Now, the selection features a standout performance from the recently concluded National League playoffs. Among the fresh faces is Kenya Pipeline's Daisy Leting, who earned a call-up after being named the most valuable player during the just-ended KVF season. Now, her exceptional performances were instrumental in leading the oil merchants to the league title. The Malkia Strikers will be making their first appearance since competing at the Paris Olympics, where they bowed out at the group stage phase. The upcoming Global Championship, scheduled 22nd of July to August 7th, marks the first major assignment for Omondi, who took over as head coach in April. And over to golf now, where home players Evans Kirui and Josephine Chesang put up a brilliant display to emerge the overall gross winners during the Kitale Golf Club leg of the 2025 NCBA Golf Series. The two winners led a contingent of 4 other golfers in qualifying for the grand finale of the 2025 series set for later this year. Now, Frederick Moki has the details of this story.
Evans Kirui, playing off handicap 11, delivered a composed run to emerge the overall gross men winner with a score of 81, winning another accolade with the longest drive among men in the process. On her part, 2023 Grand Final Ladies Net winner Chesang carded 95 gross, playing off handicap 23 to emerge the top lady for the day and book another shot at destiny in the Grand Finale. In Division 2, Michael Chege, playing off handicap 24, and Josephine Jerry, playing handicap 22, topped the men's and ladies' leaderboards with 37 and 33 points respectively, while Anne Atieno emerged the overall Division 3 winner after returning 42 points. Just like he did in 2022, Carlos Wakoli bossed the junior category, playing off handicap 20, and returned 27 points to win the category and book a slot at the grand final yet again.
Kitale is special because if I think back, we've probably had 2 or 3 of the winners in the finale come from this club. Yeah? So that means there's something you're doing right. And when I look at the platform that we use to actually change golf, we call it Change the Story, which is our platform that drives our impact within the community.
Frederick Muki for Prime Edition.
And across the borders now, where Portugal successfully defended the UEFA Nations League title after edging out Spain 5-3 in a dramatic penalty shootout last night at the Allianz Arena in Munich, Germany. Cristiano Ronaldo brought Portugal level 2-2 in the 61st minute, and with no further goals in regulation or extra time, the match was decided on penalties. Ruben Neves calmly slotted home the decisive spot kick, securing Portugal's second Nations League crown and denying Spain a chance to reclaim the title they last held in 2023. In the third place playoff, former champions France defeated Germany 2-0 in a match played at the MHP Arena in Stuttgart.
It home again. Power back into the danger area, and it's not been dealt with by João Neves. Good burst, brilliant goal. Oyarzabal slips it in beyond Diogo Costa, away from Lamine Yamal.
And still in Europe, this time to tennis, where defending champion Carlos Alcaraz beat Yannick Sinner to retain his title in an incredible French Open men's singles final on Sunday at the Roland Garros in France. Now, in an electrifying atmosphere, Alcaraz produced a superb performance to claim his 5th major title, showing an extraordinary fight to win 6-4, 7-6, 7-6 in a final that lasted 5 hours and 29 minutes, the longest French Open final in history. Alcaraz is the first man to win a Grand Slam title after saving match points since Novak Djokovic beat Roger Federer in the 2019 Wimbledon final. In the women's doubles, Sarah Irani and Yasmin Paolini beat Anna Denilina and Alexandra Krunic 6-4, 6-1 on court Philippe Chatrier. Well, and that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Bernardo Kumo. Let's do this again tomorrow.
Thank you, Okumu, for the business bit. But before we come to a close, there is developments from across the borders. Tensions are escalating in the United States as protests against immigration and custom enforcement grip the city of Los Angeles, with demonstrators clashing with law enforcement and setting vehicles on fire downtown. The demonstrations, which started peacefully, turned violent, prompting U.S. President Donald Trump to deploy the National Guard troops. Johnson Karugu has the details of this story.
It began with an early morning raid on Friday. Federal immigration and customs enforcement agents swept through multiple sites in Los Angeles, arresting dozens of immigrants. What followed was swift and furious. Protesters flooded the streets, chanting, blocking highways, and confronting law enforcement. President Donald Trump responded by deploying more than 2,000 National Guard troops to California and vowed to restore order. Around 60 protesters were arrested and 3 officers injured following unrest in San Francisco on Sunday, prompting the San Francisco Police Department to declare an unlawful assembly in the area. The 3-day protest could continue further as activists around the country continue to organize for a massive protest on June 14th, dubbed No King's Day. Johnson Karugu reporting for Prime Edition.
Business. Well, we have come to the close of Prime Edition this Monday, the 8th of June 2025, but you don't take your viewership for granted. Earlier on, we mentioned about members of the Senate Finance and Budget Committee who have been attacked by goons while on an oversighting assignment in KBC County. Just a brief on that, as we intend to give you the details of this story in our subsequent bulletin. Members of the committee were led by their chair, Ali Roba, and were addressing the press outside a hotel in KBC when this incident happened. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your feedback on our social media platforms. My name is Muchuma Odim. Earlier on, we had Betty Kiptum with the business beat and Bernardo Kochakumu with the sports news. Our sign language expert tonight is Lucy Maura. Good night. God bless you.
Kenya's future is taking shape. Introducing the 2025-2026 National Budget. A budget built on priorities and focused on what matters most. Empowering agriculture for food security and prosperity. Supercharging digital infrastructure for innovation and opportunity. Building affordable homes, creating jobs and transforming lives. And ensuring quality healthcare for all. So, how much will it all cost? Well, a proposed budget of 4.2 trillion is on the table. Get the full picture, understand the numbers, and see the impact. The 2025-2026 budget on KBC Channel 1.
This is not a negotiation.
Nice to see you too.
Why are you still alive?
Well, I think I have 9 lives.
Fufunika hiyo bakuli yako. You're just a simple secretary hapa.
Hebu kwanza nione huo mtoto.
Ndio nini? Shughulika na yanayokuhusu.
Kai Tiffany, this woman is a liar. This baby didn't even cry.
Fikiri naogopa. Kuna kitu naogopa. There's no.
As the sun begins to dip below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the pristine beaches of Shanzu in Mombasa, a remarkable event unfolds that captivates the hearts of locals and tourists alike. From the majestic green turtles to the elusive hawks